Hi there web devs. Are you just getting started with React.js and trying to create a hello world app but then find out that you have to build a giant build pipeline before you can even get started? You might have heard about Yarn, but then there's 1,000 different React templates, and heaven forbid that you would try and build your own just so that you could build your hello world. Well, Create React App is here to save the day, and that's what we're going to be doing in today's In a Few Minutes. We're going to do Create React App in a few minutes. We only have a few minutes, so let's get started.
Reactionary.net, here to help you learn about React.js. Everyone from experts to novices, we're here to help you develop your knowledge. Let's act ready, show you how to learn the ins and outs of React now.
So why don't we start with what is Create React App and why is it useful and why do we like it so much? You'll find that a lot of tutorials in React.js start out with you building an application in plain old HTML and ES5 syntax. You put in your React.js script tag and then you start writing the API function calls for the React API. And you build your hello world in this way. And that's how a lot of tutorials start. Even the Code Venturing tutorial series started that way. I'll put a card up. And the reason why they start out this way is because it's the simplest possible way to be able to actually just start tinkering with React. However, it's not indicative of a React.js like full-blooded development experience. And in one of these full-blooded development experiences, you would be playing with JSX and ES6 syntax and all the rest. But all these things require a build pipeline. So that's where Create React App steps in. It simplifies the process, just a couple of commands and you've got a React.js sort of vanilla build pipeline set up and ready to go. So in this way, you can be building your hello world much quicker. So let's start from the very beginning. I'm going to assume that you've got nothing on your machine set up at all to be able to support any of this. And so we begin by grabbing ourselves and installing a copy of Node. You can do that by going to nodejs.org and on the front page of nodejs.org you will find an LTS version of Node.js. If you download this for your version of your operating system, I believe that this defaults to, well, it sort of detects your operating system and then defaults to the one that you need. And just grab the LTS version. LTS stands for long-term support, and so these are the most stable versions of Node. And so if it's your first time installing Node and not doing any sort of deep exploratory experimental work, then yeah, you just want to pick up the LTS version. I'm not going to show you how to install any of that because it's just especially for Windows, it's just an executable. Just hit next a whole heap of times and it's installed for you. So I've got Node installed on this machine already, and you can see if I just use the old npm v command there, that's all installed. And so to be able to install Create React App, you'll need to enter in the command npm install g create react app. I'm not going to run that because I've already got Create React App installed on my machine as it stands, but if I were to hit enter, then that would install Create React App globally into my global dependencies of Node. So if I wanted to be able to create my own build pipeline, it's very simple. It's just one command. And throughout the next series of In a Few Minute videos, I'm going to be creating an application called High Roller, which is going to be a tabletop RPG dice rolling application. So let's go ahead and start that, make that application. So we can use Create React App, and then if you go ahead and give it the name of the application that you want to build, this will create a directory wherever you are. So at the moment I'm in C projects, the Reactionary. If I was to do Create React App High Roller and hit enter, it's going to go away and start installing the Create React App pipeline. And so after maybe a minute, you'll see that Create React App finishes what it needs to do, and you can see a friendly happy hacking written on the screen here. What you'll also see is a short bit of documentation on the things that it's just sort of done. So you'll see that it's created high roller at this path here, and I'll prove to you in a moment that has done that. And it's also highlighting that it's created a number of different commands. Now these are just npm tasks. You can see here that start just starts up a development server, run does some extra bundling and performance tweaks, so that's basically your release. The test is, well, runs the tests in Jest, and the eject perhaps needs a little bit more of an explanation. So eject gives you the ability to be able to escape the create React app pipeline. So you may find at some point during your development of your application, the create React app just doesn't cut it, and you just want to be sort of free of it. You want to be free of that dependency, and npm eject allows you to do that. It basically grabs all the dependencies that were being used by create React app and the different tasks and stuff like that, and it pulls them out and puts them into your own package.json, and then from then on you're responsible for all that stuff. Now this command is not reversible, so you know, don't take it lightly, but it does give you a nice little out so that you're not hopelessly dependent on create React app forevermore if you use it to start a larger application. So it's quite cool. So let's go ahead and look at the application here. I've got it open up in WebStorm. So we've got the node modules. We all know what that does. We've got a public folder. So we've got an index HTML here that has not a lot in it, and we've got a fave ICO here that is the React icon, and in actual fact I'll change that in a moment. Perhaps it might be good for us to actually see the application running. Okay, so that's starting up our development server. It started up on my other screen here. So that's the application that gets built. So you can see this is the logo SVG that they were talking about. Now the fave ICO has been cached. So this is actually, I mean, I've been building this application previously, so that's the ICO that I'll be using, but that should be the React logo here that we've got in the background. Yeah, that's a caching thing. Maybe if there you go. So that's what it actually looks like. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to quickly drop my fave ICO into that folder, which is the dice one. I'll overwrite that. There we go. I'll put a link for this icon also in the description, and this is just a royalty-free image, but I still like to be able to give the person who created it some credit. So now that we've done that, if we have a quick look at the application, there we go. So now that fave ICO has changed over again. So this is the code for this application on the right hand side here, and you'll see that as you actually start making changes, so if I change this React to welcome to high roller and then save that down, it updates. So it's the start automatically comes with a watcher. You can see, it's not actually showing it in this terminal, but when you put it in other terminals, you will see that it says, it's recompiling and all that kind of stuff. So let's get this down to a hello world. I'm just going to get rid of basically everything in the application here. I'm going to get rid of, I might make this screen bigger again. Okay, so I've gotten rid of all the stuff in the middle here. I'll get rid of this class, and I'm just going to put hello world in the middle. And I'll get rid of this logo SVG, import, and now if I save down again, and now I've got just my hello world with my fave ICO that's been changed over, and all this, I'll make this big again. All this CSS here is now no longer needed, so I can cut all that down. The tests are still relevant here because all it's doing is rendering the app. There's no reason to get rid of the index CSS. The Index.js does basically the same stuff, and the logo SVG was that big picture that was spinning around, and so we don't need that anymore, so I'll get rid of that. And that is Create React App cleared down to be just a hello world. And what I've done, I've taken the liberty of putting this up on a GitHub repo. It'll be the part 1 branch of the GitHub repo, and I'll put a link for that in the description. And this you might like to use as just a good start for being able to create your own React applications. And certainly with my longer form videos, I'm now going to point to this video, and you can use that GitHub repo as a start. Create React App is cool because you can get up and running nice and quickly. Personally, I use it sort of just like in place of fiddles for React App, you know what I mean? Like I just start up a new build pipeline really quickly, and then I can just test things out just real quick. But the things where it struggles a little bit is, whilst I think that the build pipeline that gets spat out is very good, very robust, it's not exactly on the cutting edge. It needs to stay a little bit generic so that it can meet everyone's tastes. I mean, what all this comes down to is that Create React App is a great start, but it's not a finish. You should really have a deeper knowledge of your build pipeline. Don't let it be a black box. So the gotcha here with Create React App is that it's very easy, but it's also very easy to just become a black box of magic that you don't really know how it works, and that's a dangerous place to be. So that's the only caution that I would give you about using Create React App. But all in all, it's a great piece of software, and I hope you enjoyed learning the ins and outs of it this week. And I look forward to speaking with you in the next installment of In a Few Minutes.
Let's act ready, show you how to learn the ins and outs of React now.